Hello, everybody. Dan Tomaszewski here with Everything MSP. Hope you're all doing well. I am here with Eric Torres with ScalePad. He's the VP of Channel. Eric, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's we are just days away from a new year starting. It's hard to believe how fast 2023 has just flown by. Is it same thing for you?
Oh, absolutely. It's been a wild year, but yeah, this whole year has just flown by, and even this month. I mean, it feels like it was
Yeah.
just the beginning of December, and now we've got basically one day left, one business day, and we're already into the new year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've all seen 2023 fly by, but I can only imagine that for you guys at SkillPad, it's just been just a wild, crazy, busy year because, number one, you guys have had a number of acquisitions. You guys continue to grow and just dominate.
Yeah, it's been exciting in all of my tech career. This has probably been the busiest and the hardest of any that come to mind. It started out right out of the gate in January. February, we made some key acquisitions. Lifecycle Insights being one of them,
Yeah.
Control Map and Cognition 360. So we actually did, and I forget how many weeks. I think it was three acquisitions within 7 weeks, which
Wow.
that is
Wow.
it's incredibly hard to do. But for somebody
Yeah.
in doing what I do to learn all of these products and then be able to share the value of them with the community,
Right.
that's incredibly hard to do. And then right through the year is just building those all into our ecosystem and integrating and advancing each one of those. And then just as we were getting our bearings with all of that, we went and acquired another company, Quoter, right at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So it has been a busy year. I don't anticipate 2024 being as busy with the acquisitions like that, but yeah, we've definitely been keeping an eye on what value different products bring MSPs and how we can build
Mhm.
that all together inside of ScalePad.
Yeah, and I would have to assume that as you are considering the organizations for acquisition, or as you have considered them, just taking a look at key products that are out there that have a lot of buzz and a lot of attention and a lot of movement, but also just taking a look at those categories and just how all those categories work together and provide a lot of synergy within each other.
Yeah, we've got some key principles in which we roll out all of our products and when we look at products, and it's a framework that we follow. It's about automating as many manual tasks as we can. If we get smarter with how we're working and automating the data collection, the review of the data, the compliance checks, whatever it may be, even when it comes to quoting, if we can automate tasks, that gives time back to the MSP. And then
Right.
with that time, with that product, standardizing how they deliver their services. And I say it time and time again, your largest, best customer should have the exact same experience as your smallest, newest customer. Everything should be the same, so you can standardize
Right.
on all of that. All of our products help our partners strengthen their communications and client service that they have with their clients. And then lastly, adding to their bottom line and increasing what really matters, increasing the growth, increasing the revenue, increasing opportunities. And every acquisition we have made this year follows those four key principles. And
Okay.
and that's the way we look at rolling everything out.
Yeah, and I mean when you think through the challenges that many MSPs are faced with, of course they want to differentiate themselves, and like you said, the ability to deliver a consistent level of service, regardless of if it's good, better, best. You
Mhm.
want to be able to have some platforms that can help with that foundation, because it's that foundation that allows you to deliver it in that fashion. And when you take a look at, each of your products, maybe we could highlight a couple of them because you guys ultimately have 6 different products, correct?
Yes, different products and services. So we've got services that we've added on top of that. So yeah, we've got a ton. Just before I jump into some of the specifics though, but one of the key services that we have that we introduced this year too is IT asset disposal, which is completely
Yeah.
free for our partners, which has been incredibly successful for both our partners and us as well. But yeah, I think it all started with that lifecycle insights
Hmm.
and truly being able to have those conversations with, you know, empowering MSPs to be able to have those conversations with your customers and
Yeah.
in that regular interval. It's all built around that quarterly business review, monthly business review, however your cadence is, but being able to confidently sit down and discuss the hard topics, budget being one of them,
Yeah.
and success and just being focused on the MSP success and then their client success overall and empowering them to make better decisions from both the SMB and the MSP.
I've always, in my own MSP from the early days, have built the business into 4 different phases with a client. You've got in the number one, the assessment, identifying those strengths and weaknesses within that client organization. Step 2 is remediation and bringing everything up to standards so that things are operating smoothly, efficiently, and effectively for all end users. Step 3 is that management component, which is keeping things running consistently because you need to provide that regular TLC. But most importantly, step 4 is that strategic planning. And I think that is truly what differentiates us from anybody else because when we take a look at that organization, and we've had these conversations a lot on our calls of, moving away from those blinky light conversations to having true business leader or business owner to business owner conversations about what we can do, how we can leverage technology to make them more efficient, more productive, more profitable. Those are just key aspects. And when I take a look at your overall portfolio, those all fall into place, especially as we're talking here about lifecycle insights and
Yep.
really being able to provide them with a, let's be frank, a pretty report because, if we're just throwing stuff in Excel, it doesn't necessarily look good, right? And it's not effective, as far as being able to truly manage that. But that's where lifecycle comes into play.
Yeah, you hit it right on the head when you were talking about your plan at your MSP and the standardization of it. You know, a lot of what I'm seeing out there from MSPs is they're pretty much taking on any kind of work that they can and they don't want to
Right.
say no.
Yeah,
And you know that when that comes to technologies and offerings and kind of trying to just be everything that they can possibly be for their clients, there's a lot of trouble and challenges with doing that. So
sure.
if you do have that regimented process of, okay, you're my client, here's my recommended solutions, but also here's the service delivery you're going to receive from me, here are the reports you're going to view, and here's the conversations we're going to have when we do meet. And this is going to be a strategic conversation. We are going to be talking about budgeting and risk analysis and why I'm presenting to you the options that you have. But then more importantly, if you don't do some of these, here's some things that could end up happening. And then all doing that through the lens of being their VCIO and planning, you know, whether that's 6 month lookout and a year or 3 years, having
Right.
those strategic conversations to say, hey, here's where I see the network going. Here's what we need to begin preparing for. And even some of our partners now, they've been talking about 2024 for months. They're even
Yeah.
starting now to talk about 2025.
Right.
And that's what business owners are looking for, that advisor to sit down with them and say, here's what we need to start planning for over the next couple of years.
Yeah, and there's no better way to get those leaders engaged in conversation than having those type of conversations. Because frankly, I don't think most business owners, business leaders expect that from most IT companies, right?
Right.
They just think, okay, we're going to talk about gadgets, and we're going to talk about things that I'm not going to understand, and these are going to be
Yep.
boring conversations,
Oh
you
yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
And when you have those conversations, it's like you're striking up a conversation that you just pull them right in, and when you go down that route. So, um,
And I would even take it a step further too, from an MSP standpoint, utilizing lifecycle insights. There's even a module, the ability to focus in on the clients that you need to spend more time with. And
right.
there's a whole system to say, okay, well, does that client need some extra touches? Do they need more reach out? Do they need more communication from us? Or is this somebody we can scale back from and say, okay, well, they don't need as much of my time. So there's a way that you can bring them into the customer success module and pinpoint. And you can even as a sales rep go through and say, okay, well, I have a client that has a high propensity to potential to buy something and they need it. And I made these recommendations and they haven't pulled the trigger. That's somebody we need to get in
Mm.
front of more and more because you're making recommendations, whether it's security or just for the good of their environment. But
Yeah.
there's a whole other module that's not just, hey, here's a report on everything we did, but
Yeah.
as an MSP, as an executive, you can look at it saying, okay, here are the phone calls I need to make. Here's the ones that I need to pay attention to.
Yeah, and when you think about it, all of the clients that you have, you might be looking at one, but the ability to be able to look at them all, from a
Mhm.
global perspective is critical. And I like to call, those type of reports, or those type of conversations as the money tree, because, ultimately
Yeah.
we're always focused on, how do we acquire more clients? How do we acquire more clients? But we
Yep.
also have to be spending time thinking about how do we drive more revenue from the clients that we have. And those are tools to help us scale. Thus the name ScalePad, right? I'm
Yeah,
sure, you know,
that's exactly it. Yeah.
yeah,
Scaling and stability. That's how the name came about. Scale
yeah,
and prepared for growth, and then pad, like a rocket launch pad, and being stable and building that foundation to be able to deliver your solutions.
exactly. So let's just take a look ahead to 2024. What do you envision 2024 looking like for ScalePad?
A lot of effort on the development side of each one of our products, and what we have to make sure, and we see it with some of the other unfortunately with some of the other companies that are out there. When you grow at the pace that ScalePad has, it's easy to just kind of rest and not advance each product. That is not the direction that ScalePad is taking. We are investing fully in making sure that we are creating enhancements to every single solution that we have and that they all talk to each other, because each one of our products has data, has information, in some sense. And getting all of these solutions to talk to each other, whether it's on the backup side of the house, the compliance side of the house, the quoting and what opportunities are in there,
Mhm.
all into one single platform, so you can get that overall, high arching look into what's going on
Yeah.
a client level. So moving into 2024, it's a lot more of honing in on what we already have and making it better, and integrating, talking with each other, and making sure that, if we're uncovering something in one of our solutions, that it's able to flow right into Lifecycle Insights, that we're able to report on it and really get those conversations going with the end users.
Absolutely. Now, so that's a great look ahead for 2024 from a ScalePad perspective. I'm just curious what your thoughts are, what 2024 will look like for MSPs.
I mean, it's every year we always look at it through that lens of opportunity, and every year I see a potential for growth and for MSPs of all sizes, where I see the biggest advancement and the biggest focus, and it was kind of in 2023 as well, but compliance is going to be
Mm.
knocking on every business's door, in a matter of time, and we're seeing it across the globe, and being able to confidently build that into your solutions, into your offerings of security. And there's dozens and dozens of security solutions out there, but how do you really maintain all of that and make sure that your clients are secure, compliant, that they don't get the government knocking on the door and with a fine
Yeah.
and everything like that. And it's a huge undertaking for MSPs. Way back in the day, long time now, when I worked for an MSP, security and compliance was kind of like this whole thing that we looked at as you have to be an expert and it's so hard and I just need to go hire somebody or outsource it entirely. Now
Yeah.
it's come down to the sense of there's platforms out there that like ScalePad's platform that can walk you right through it and ensure that your customers are compliant. The key that we're seeing out there is most companies are about 80% compliant in a number of different frameworks. And it
Hmm.
just takes that push from the MSP to
Yeah.
say, well, if you do these three other things, not only are you HIPAA compliant, but you're SOC 2 compliant, you'll get all these other accreditations. So and compliancies. So that's where we see the biggest the trend going, and the biggest opportunity is having those conversations and being confident in delivering those conversations to your customers.
That's awesome. So as we're wrapping up, there's one thing that I wanted to learn a little bit more about. I'm aware that ScalePad has added a community portal for partners.
Yeah.
Can you give me a little bit of a breakdown of what that involves and what it looks like?
Yeah. This is something that Luis Geraldo and Andrea Ayala on our team have been working for months on. Um, Prior to this, we didn't have a solid platform for MSPs to go and for ScalePad partners to go and share information, share ideas, to talk, to receive information from us. So we built this. The Luis and Andrea have built this platform that allows like a documentation platform where we've got a ton of documentation we're adding to it and ways to use our products better, but also giving the ability for MSPs partners to communicate with each other and bounce ideas off of each other. And we have our partner advisory council, which is about 100 MSPs, just under 100 MSPs right
Hmm.
now. We're rolling all of that right into the community portal as well. So just a common ground with ScalePad partners to go to
Yeah.
receive all the information they need, and then even make recommendations to us and say, hey, here's what I wish your product could do, and then get the feedback of others and just truly make for better partners. It is no small task. That was an incredibly laborious task by Luis and Andrea, and it's coming together beautifully. And we're really excited. We just launched it last month, or earlier this month. So very excited for 2024 and what we have in store with it.
That's great. And definitely community is so critical because many MSPs want to, feel as if they're in the same boat and they can, share ideas, number one, but also just be able to, throw out maybe whatever challenges that they have or just their thoughts. A lot of time we have different thoughts, but we will hold back on pushing forward because we're just not sure if this is a good angle. And when you can throw it out there to peers and have them give their input, just gives MSPs that confidence to be able to say, yeah, this is a good idea and I'm going to push forward. So that's
And
great.
and
And mhm,
another key aspect there too is and this is for every vendor that's out there, when you have that community portal ability, it's a direct line to that vendor's leadership. Where everybody's paying attention to it.
right.
So it's a bit different than some of the wonderful groups that are out there and means of communicating with that. But the aspect of being able to have the ears of even getting the ear of a developer and saying, hey, I wish your product could
Yeah.
do this. They're paying attention. So it's fantastic. Nothing but good things are going to come from it.
Nice. Well, Eric, I greatly appreciate your time. Always enjoy speaking with you, and it's also just
Always.
great to be able to hear, all the great things that you guys are doing at ScalePad and just what you're looking forward to in this next year. Any parting words for our audience?
Onward and upward. That's what we've been.
Yeah,
It's been a rocket ship this year, and we're full on the gas pedal. We're going into 2024, and we're really looking forward to seeing everybody out there. You'll see myself and my team. We're doing 50+ events this year, so we'll be out there.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great rest of your day, a prosperous 2024. We look forward to talking with you all soon. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
Thanks, Dan.